Hello, welcome everybody to a new episode of Human Performance Podcast. Today we have Noel Brand, which is a good friend. I think we have a few things in common, a few special things in common that we will talk later on that not many people have. And also is a good customer from Go Primal. So welcome, Noel.
Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Noel Brand. I am the co-owner and head coach of Breda Strength and Conditioning. This year we'll be having our 10-year anniversary. I used to be in the Marine Corps, the Royal Netherlands Marine Corps. I served for 14 years. I deployed to Afghanistan, and after I came back from Afghanistan, I started Breda Strength and Conditioning. Currently, we're closed with Breda Strength and Conditioning. We're training, but we're training outside in a tent outside the gym. We call it the party tent, and people are training there right now. We have a 1,000 square meter space here, and we train everything from like students to physical therapists, to housewives, to pro athletes, to military hopefuls, and that's kind of what I do. Oh, and I also have a dog, and I also have a beautiful daughter. So, and I gotta say this. I run this amazing facility along with my amazing wife, Sana. So she's also a co-owner.
Yeah, you will have some problems if you don't mention her.
Yeah, well, that's not smart. Gotta give respect to my wife. She's the actual boss. I'm like. Everybody thinks like I'm the man. No, she's like I'm the guy. No, she's the queen.
Yeah,
she's the queen of the place.
Not everybody knows that she's the boss. I knew that before you say it. So
now everybody knows.
But yeah, I think you can. If you do, you mind explaining? I think a lot of people know already the situation that we are having in Europe with lockdowns and everything, but would you mind to explain what you have done, which is the party tent, right? Outside.
Tent, yeah.
How did you call it? The party
tent. Yeah.
Party tent. Yeah.
That's where the party's at. So obviously we have in the Netherlands we had one lockdown that was only a couple of months. Then we were open for a couple of weeks with certain rules. You know, be a meter and a half apart, clean your hands, clean your materials, stuff like that. And then we had a second lockdown. So obviously first it was kind of nice weather. We trained outside during the first lockdown, all within the rules, obviously, because we have to listen to what the government says when it comes to the rules for safety and health. And then in the second lockdown, we rented a big tent. So there's like a professional a company that sets up these tents usually for big festivals, but now we have one in the parking lot across from our gym. So when we had the first lockdown, and I mentioned this with Jillian when I was on the other podcast from Go Primal, the Go Primal experience, I believe.
Yeah.
I talked about that we called every member of our gym individually. We called them, talked to them, told them what was going on and how we were gonna still support them in this tough time. So we called them every week. There was a newsletter, and still after more than a year, every week people get a newsletter, our current members, and every month everybody that's subscribed to our newsletter, and that's over 1,000 people, they get a newsletter as well. But the members, they got programming that they could do at home for strength and conditioning, and they got running programming as well. They got tips on nutrition, on managing stress, on reading books, stuff like that. What else did we do? We did Zoom classes, and I think everybody basically does Zoom classes right now, but we jumped on that very quickly. And then when the rules kind of gave us a little bit more room to coach, we also rented that party tent outside, and we were allowed to coach 4 people. So we did a class in the party tent while also giving a Zoom class. So it was live in the party tent, and then people at home could also participate, and people could still see each other according to the programming that we were sharing. That's kind of what we did. Oh, we also uh, gave every one of our members that wanted a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or an elastic band, they could come pick it up. They had to sign a form, and we rented our stuff so people have our kettlebells at home, so they could train. That's kind of basically what we have been doing for the last year.
So whatever you did during the first lockdown, that's pretty much what you are doing at the moment, right? Like a year later, you're
Still
still
doing
doing
that.
that.
Yeah, still
Well,
doing that. Obviously, we try and still add value now, because it's easy to go like, well, can't do anything. But I think it's very important to be there for people when it's difficult. It's easy to be there for people when it's easy. It's important to be there for people when it's not easy. So
true.
like Go Primal, obviously you're helping out people with health and performance. You're not coaching people with Go Primal, but you can support people with their health. So I think it's important that you are still like helping us as a gym with sending us our products and selling it to other people, because you are still making people healthy, making them feel good, perform good. What I think is very important right now.
Yeah, that definitely. I think how is the people taking this, year of isolation, year of maybe losing their job, losing their friends, because at the end people go to the gym mm, to be healthy, but there is important part of health which is happiness and mental health, and that is provided by friends, the friends that you make at the gym. So they are not training. I mean, they can train a little bit at the tent, but I'm guessing that not 100% of your members can do that. So
It's
some
not,
can
no.
come, some others.
Yeah, it's not that big a tent. I can't have like almost 200 people in the tent. It's not that kind of a party tent. Like
Yeah.
it's only like it's like 12 by 20 or 15 by 15 meters. So it's still pretty big, but it's not like huge. Yeah, obviously people are social creatures, so they want interaction. A lot of people, I mean, you can focus on what you can't do, but you can also focus on what you can do. But definitely I think everybody had that. It's a big change when you can't go to the gym and you can't high five people or hug somebody because you missed them. Um, so we have been trying to get the community, our gym community, together by doing those Zoom classes, by staying in touch, calling them, and that. But if you lose your job, it's kind of tough, obviously. But we try and be there. Sometimes we'll try and take care of people, even though if they lost their job. But because we think, like you mentioned, we think it's important to be physically active and to have friends and to move and to exercise and to train, because it makes you feel better. I mean, it relieves stress.
Yeah.
Like before we even started this podcast, I told you I was out running for like 9 kilometers, and I need that exercise as well. I need to feel the wind going through my hair. I love, yeah. But that's what we try and help people, remind people. Even if you're going through a tough time, please take care of yourself. Please be active. Walk if you can't run. Run if you can. Train if you can. You can walk outside with somebody else. You can still meet up and go for a walk. Walk your dog or walk for an hour and a half. You can still have that social interaction. I mean, I have friends that, just like you and I are talking now, they would have like an online date and they would have like a beer together, but only like online. But they'd still make a date for like Friday evening. They put it up on their TV, with Apple TV or whatever, like on the big screen, and they'll just talk and have beers. It's not the same, but you get creative.
Yeah. I think I like what you say, that you need to focus on what you can do, not what you can't do, because then you get negative, because it's like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, so I don't want to do this and this, instead of, well, I can do this, so I'm gonna do that. And I think it's a really good mentality that you guys, I think Dutch people have this positive mentality compared with the Spanish people. That's what I told you before, that I think we will be burning streets if we had a full year of bars, restaurants, gyms closed. I
Well,
mean, it's
I don't like it either, my man. I don't like it either. But like, well, you're wearing a pink sweater. Like, I mean, it looks good on you. Pink is the new black. But if you
it is.
focus on what you can't do, it's like me saying, "Hey, Adrian, don't think of a pink elephant." You're automatically
Yeah,
going to think like, "Oh, a pink elephant." But
yeah,
if you, but I get what you mean. Well, well, not all the Dutch are like listening or like that positive. Obviously, I'm not positive all the time as well. But I think if you run a gym, if you run a business, and I just became a dad like a year and a half ago. If I'm, what kind of example am I setting for my daughter and my gym members? If I'm always negative and thinking like, oh, this sucks and blah blah blah. Obviously, this gym is not going to be a fun community, a fun place to be if I'm going to be negative all the time, going like, oh, the government sucks and we can't do this. Everybody's going to be like, I don't want to be around Noel because Noel's being negative. I mean,
yeah,
I want to be positive too, because Adrian, I can be negative and you can leave and you're going to be like, he was negative. But if I'm
yeah.
negative, I cannot go away from myself. I'm going to be negative around me. That's not going to be fun at all. So, but
True.
I'm not, it's not easy. I get bummed out too. So I think everybody
Yeah,
gets that now. But
yeah. Have you seen a lot of your customers um, switching from being a normal positive person to become really negative or really pessimistic or sad or
well, I don't see all of my members every single day, obviously. I stay in touch with a lot because a lot of the members are also people I really enjoy talking to in my life. Um, well, obviously everybody gets like certain points where they're like kind of bummed out. And I had that for a while as well, but I was just like trying to stay positive or use stoicism, which philosophy. I like stoic philosophy a lot. And it's basically, what can you focus on? Is this something I can do something about? Is this up to me? Can I change this? No, then I
yeah,
don't need to worry about it. Can I change this? Then that's what I should focus on. So I think I try in the newsletters. I try to we try and give people a lot of books that they can read besides just working out, lifting weights and training and stuff like that. I think mindset is also very important. But some people did, to answer your question, some people did tell me they had a tough time and I recommended a book or a podcast or something else. And that kind of helped them steer the ship towards more positivity. But it was basically stuff that helped me stay
yeah.
more positive. And then they were like, oh, I really like that. Thanks, Noel. And they read that book. So yeah, some people kind of were like, this kind of sucks and I'm bummed. And then some people, they were like, nah, it's fine. I mean, we
Yeah,
all get that. We all get
yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you have your customers they are not CrossFitters, and none of them are training for CrossFit or anything like that. You have some police and military or people that is going to be, so they are preparing their physical test for that, and
Yeah.
then people that wants to be healthy, right? Like they
Yeah.
just do a strength and condition. That's
Yeah.
why the name of your gym.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so how
So
the
yeah, go ahead.
yeah the people that is preparing for being a cop or an army or in the army, have they been able to continue their training?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, all of the members are still active and they're still busy. Some people attend the Zoom. I'm going to go to your question, but the general population, they're still active. Like the students, the everybody, like our GPP clients are still active. Some people attend Zoom classes. Some people go into the party tent, and some people just train at home. They're like, hey, I'm still alive. Don't worry about it. I see all the programming that you share every week. I'm doing it. And some people just don't like to train with Zoom. Some people don't,
Yeah,
or the times don't work for them. So
yeah,
they're
they
like,
don't need it. Yeah,
no, and they're like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna train in my underwear in the living room, and I don't need
Yeah,
Zoom.
exactly.
I'm like, it's fine. So I don't need to see that. That's cool.
Yeah,
But the people that I train, the pro athletes that I train them with personal training outside because we're still
okay.
allowed to do that.
Yeah,
And then the people that I train for the military, so that's active military that want to go into special forces or
okay.
civilians that want to join the military. I try and train them as well as I can. I'm still coaching a lot of people, but sometimes it's through WhatsApp or programming or online training or personal training right here or duo training. So you and a friend both go into the same unit at the same time.
Mhm.
I try and train those two people together at a certain hour or twice a week or something like that. And we try and still work around it. So I think quality is very important. I think quality is the most important thing that you can add to someone's life, adding value. So we try not to train a ton of people. We try to work with a small group and train them as well as we can. So the general people still train, the athletes still train, and the military people or military hopefuls, people that want to join, we
Mhm.
try and help them as well as we can through Zoom or personal training or WhatsApp or online programming
Yeah,
or just a call, just like, hey, how's it going? Where are you in your talks before you get selected? You have to have your psychological training, medical training, all that kind of
yeah,
tests. I mean, before you can go into the Marine Corps or Special Forces or whatever,
yeah,
you have like certain selections, and I still try and coach them through all of this because the military obviously doesn't stop, even though they can't
yeah,
go
exactly.
into the gym and train here.
Yeah, but the I don't know how you call that, but the test that they have to do to become military, that
Yeah.
hasn't stopped. So that continue as it
No.
is. So they needed training. Okay, that's cool.
No, yeah, exactly. The
Um,
guys, I think I have about 20 people right now that are either about to start to go into the military or are actually in their training right now. I got like 3 people right now that are halfway through the Marine Corps training. I have a couple of people in 9 weeks that are going to graduate Marine Corps. One is going to be an officer. One is going to earn his Marine Corps beret. Well, both are, but one's going to be an officer. I got one guy in Special Forces school right now, and one in air assault right now, and another guy is going to start his sniper school in a couple of weeks. So everything's still going, but you just try and help them even though it's difficult. It's important to help
yeah,
them. Just yeah, I think that's very yeah, okay. It's very important.
yeah, cool. But now taking a little bit of this positive mentality and the support that you are doing to people, I think I don't know if and also kind of trying to connect it with what we talked at the beginning, that there is something special that connects us. Um, so as you I guess you are still straight edge, or I don't know if you consider yourself a straight edge, but obviously part of the hardcore straight edge movement. I consider myself, since I was 17 or 16, straight edge with, in a little bit special. I think the straight edge movement has changed too much and it's been radicalized a little bit. But
Yeah.
for me, I don't know, I just want to ask you that, but for me, a straight edge is having a positive mind, always doing the right things. That doesn't mean that you eat or not animals, that you take or not drugs, or you drink or not alcohol. I think for me is that positive mind and not going crazy with drugs, alcohol, weird stuff that you can do. It doesn't mean that you don't have a sip of wine when you want it because you are not getting drunk from that or things like that. But I think, I don't know if you still consider yourself a straight edge. I can see because of all your tattoos that you are, music and hardcore is quite important. I think I've seen Misfits, maybe Judge tattoo, the X here.
No, I got
Yeah,
I
right.
got the Misfits tattoo here, but I don't consider myself straight edge anymore. I was straight edge from my 16th to my 32nd birthday, somewhere like age. So I was straight edge for 16 years. So just for the people that don't know about hardcore music, Adrian and I love hardcore music. I still love hardcore music. Ever since I got in touch with it, still attend shows. Well, they're not shows anymore. Well, not at the moment, but definitely have a couple of favorite hardcore bands. When I got in touch with hardcore, I was straight edge for, like I said, for 16 years. And then I started enjoying whiskey and drinking beers. I did have a couple of straight edge tattoos, but don't have those anymore. But because I got them all covered, I still like straight edge, but I do like the positive. I do believe that straight edge kind of did change, because I don't think it's kind of like religion or being a vegan or being a CrossFitter. It's cool if you enjoy that, but don't force your beliefs on somebody else, because because obviously we're not saying something's radically or wrong. Because if you enjoy being a vegan, cool. Enjoy that, that's cool too.
Yeah,
if you
don't force anybody else.
No, yeah, exactly. If you feel more positive because you believe in God, cool. If it makes you a better person, that's what I'm trying to say, cool. If you enjoy CrossFit and you're injury free and you're just being healthy and enjoying the active lifestyle, cool. I don't, that's positive. But if you're straight edge and you're knocking beers out of people's hands, or grabbing their cigarettes, that's not something positive. I wouldn't want to. I used to be straight edge. So if I'm enjoying my beer, my one beer or whatever, and you knock the beer out of my hands going like straight edge, I'm like, that's not going to make me want to join a positive straight edge movement. And you might be like a cool guy, but if you do that, that's not cool at all. So I think straight edge is more about staying healthy, and that's more than just not eating, not drinking, and not doing drugs. It's also about, like you said, and I completely agree, the mindset. If you're positive, you can still drink a beer and be positive. You can not drink a beer and be a complete asshole. So it's not cool. But I think straight edge is more about not being addicted and being positive. You can still drink a beer and not be addicted. It doesn't have to be black and white.
Yeah.
I can talk about this. Not too long ago, I think I was pretty negative myself, and I struggled with. I found that I was having beers just a little too often. So first I had beers in the weekend, then I had beers in the weekend and on Wednesday. Then I had beers on Thursday because it was almost weekend.
Almost weekend.
Yeah. So, and I was like, nah, this is not okay. I don't like where this is going. So you might have read the book Atomic Habits from James Clear, but it says, everything you do is a vote for a person you want to become. It's 1% better every time. So I was like, am I going to do this? And where does that lead? Or am I going to do this? And where does that lead? So basically it's the legend about the two wolves, the good wolf and the bad wolf. Which wolf are you feeding? Are you feeding your bad side or are you feeding your good side? So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop doing this and not, and just basically not going to have beers anymore for a certain amount of time and just see how that feels. And I feel better I feel more positive for not having alcohol at the moment.
Yeah.
Training.
I think it's a good mentality that you choose every direction that you do, every direction that you take is taking you somewhere, and you can take a lot of small steps into one direction, and then you don't realize that you go into that direction. At least in my case, I'm always thinking, well, I'm doing this, but if I wouldn't be doing this, I will be doing something else. So what I prefer, doing that something else, what is better for me? In my case, I'm always looking into productivity, how I can be more productive, have a better productivity. Doing this or that, I can take a rest some days and do something that is not always like work or training or whatever it is that I want to focus my productivity. And then I'm like, okay, I can take a few days off or a few hours off, but I want to be more, advancing or on whatever I want to advance. So then I'm going into that direction.
I think that's smart. I think you can't always work. If you work, work hard. If you relax hard. Don't do
Yeah.
something half. Just like you're saying, if you want to be more productive, then you put away your phone, or you have it on silent or whatever. You just work, and you take a break, like after a couple of hours, or like 2 hours, or after an hour, you go like, okay, I'm gonna have my coffee, I'm gonna have my protein bar, relax, and I'm gonna be on my phone for a little bit. Okay, break's over, and then you work again. Or breathing exercises, meditation, stuff like that. To be organized. And again, like you just said, is it helping me become the person? Is it a vote for the person that I want to become?
Yeah, I think that's important. Um, when things are easy, but especially now when things are maybe a little bit more complicated for many people, that's I think the mentality that you have. I want to be here. There is
Yeah.
a lot of noise here that is making my direction be more difficult, but I
Yeah.
still want to be here. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna try to jump, go up and down, and try to be up here. So yeah, I
Nobody
like a
said
lot that mentality.
nobody said was going to be easy. Everybody wants to have like a company like Go Primal, for example, but nobody wants to do the research on what the best product is, or what the best ingredients are, or the quality of the like the bottle, or the quality of the stickers, or all that.
Everything. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, and the mailing system, the invoice, the whole administration behind it, the website, the content. Everybody wants to be the cool guy. Look, I have my own product, but nobody wants to do
yeah.
the work. Or they want the result, but they don't want to work towards the result. And that's a lot of
Yeah,
work sometimes. It's also, when it's not fun, you're still going to have to go and do it.
yeah, exactly. I think being entrepreneurship, or progressing into a sport career, it has kind of the same framework. You always want to be here. You've seen that person online that you're like, wow, I want to be that fast, strong, rich, whatever it is, on social media. I want to be there, but then I don't want to put in risk what I have. And what I have is maybe my 8 to 5 work.
Yeah.
It's my going to have beers with my friends, so I don't want to go to the gym 2 hours, or I don't want to put my finance in risk as we did at the beginning. Because I remember the first year, maybe 2 years of creating Go Primal, that I was like, why I'm doing this? I had an awesome
Yeah.
job somewhere else. I didn't have to go over this stress. And it's the same if you want to do, if you want to prepare for the Ironman. It's so easy to run a little bit, to swim a little bit, to go by bike a little bit, being in your comfort zone. That's easy.
Yeah.
But at some point, I guess that you saw a goal here, which was the European and World Championship Ironman. So then you wanted to put that effort here to go and
Yeah.
go and go and get there. So it's again a matter of taking decisions, putting something in risk, because I'm guessing that if you don't train that much, you spend more time with your family. You spend
Yeah.
more time with your friends. You can read more. You can do, all of those things.
More for the business as well. Yeah. So just before we go and get into that, for example, for Breda Strength and Conditioning, I was in the Marine Corps when I started Breda Strength and Conditioning. But for 7 years, I had 2 jobs. So I was an instructor in the Marine Corps, and also in the evening and in the weekends, I was still coaching at Breda Strength and Conditioning. So for 7 years, 2 jobs before I eventually transitioned out of the Marine Corps, and I could do it full time, along with my wife. Once again, the co-owner. So
I'm the
yes,
boss.
and yes, the real boss, the big boss. So yeah, for example, but so I guess I could talk about Ironman a little bit. So I did, like you just mentioned, I did the World Championship half Ironman twice, in 2006 and 2007. I raced the World Championship, did pretty well. And just 2 years ago, I did Ironman Frankfurt, which was the European Championship. But especially, but that was kind of like there was a whole idea behind that. So I did the World Championship half Ironman and half Ironman. For the people that don't know, Ironman is a brand name, like UFC is a brand name. That's the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is an MMA organization. But Pride or ONE FC or Bellator are also MMA organizations. So Ironman is just a brand name. Well, Ironman is has several distances in triathlon, which is swim, bike, run. You can do the half triathlon distance, or half Ironman, which is 1.9 kilometer swim. It is a 90 kilometer bike, and then it's 21.1 kilometer run. So a half marathon at the end. That's the World Championship, or that's the half Ironman. Did the World Championship twice. And in 2007, I raced the World Championship for the second time. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to stop triathlon for a minute now because I was still in the Marine Corps and I wanted to go on deployment and I wanted to go to a more operational unit within the Marine Corps so I can do that. So I deployed to Afghanistan, was a special operations medic with the regular infantry, the 23rd Airborne Marines. And then I started Breda Strength and Conditioning along with somebody else. But years later, I was getting older and older and older. And right now I'm 41. But when I was 38, I was like, damn, I still haven't done a full Ironman yet. And a full Ironman, a full triathlon is 3.8 kilometer swim, a 180 kilometer bike, and then a marathon, 42.2 kilometer run at the end. So obviously half Ironman is half the distance and full Ironman is the entire distance. And somewhere in me, in my brain, there was still like this nagging, that itch that was going like, hey, you still haven't done a full Ironman yet. So I told my wife, or I didn't tell my wife. I talked to my wife and asked her, like, I still want to do a full Ironman. And she, stupid enough, told me, all right, let's fucking do it. So no, that's not stupid enough. We talked about it, obviously, because we had the gym together. We have the gym together. And she was going to pick up some of the work that I couldn't do because I was training so much. And thanks to her support and my triathlon coach and a lot of training, when I was 39, just before I turned 40, a couple of weeks before I turned 40, I raced the European Championship, full Ironman in Frankfurt. But
how many hours was 2 hours? How many hours did it take?
It took me 11 hours and 27 minutes. And
no stop at all.
No, just to take your swimming suit off and then get on the bike, put your bike helmet on, and then bike, and then park your bike, take the helmet off, take the shoes off, put your running shoes on, and then run. But originally we were going to try and go for sub 10 hours. So under 10 hours. So it'd be an hour swim, a 5-hour bike, and a 4-hour marathon. That was originally the plan. And training was going really well. My triathlon coach is a pro athlete, and he coaches me in triathlon, and I coach him for strength and conditioning. So we are like a great relationship together. Evert Scheltinga, he's the best triathlete in the Netherlands, I believe, long distance as well. And but training was going well, and we were going to Frankfurt in 2019, and everything was going great. And then on the day of the race, there was a heat wave, and it was 40 degrees during the race, and 3,000 people were registered to race that day, and only 2,000 people finished. So we had 1,000 people, like I think 500 didn't even start, and 500 people didn't make it to the finish line. There were so many ambulances driving around, and people had like heat stroke and dehydration and stuff like that. Yeah. So the swim took a little longer, the bike took a lot longer, and then the marathon, I did a marathon before, like just a marathon, but this was a marathon in an Ironman in a heat wave. So I got off the bike and I was like, man, I'm already like 40 minutes late behind schedule. I ran a 3:15 marathon before. I know what that feels like, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that in the Ironman that day. So I was like, just race
Just finish it.
yeah, well, just try and finish as strong as you can. But they had showers at the aid stations where there was just like a hose, a garden hose that you could
Yeah.
run underneath, because otherwise it was so warm, it was so hot. People were quitting the
Yeah.
race left and right because it is very hot. Even pros,
Yeah.
one of the pros that was actually in first place, she collapsed in the last 400 meters. She was winning the race, and in the last 400 meters, she fell over, and she kind of like fell over and couldn't finish the race, and somebody else won. It was that It was that hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
40
took me a
degrees
while.
is a bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, they warned us before, the day before we had the race briefing. They were like, if you are thinking about doing a personal record tomorrow, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And they warned people, like, if you're like have a cold, if you're not feeling 100%, don't race.
Don't even try. Yeah.
No, do it next year. Obviously, then the coronavirus came and nothing happened.
Yeah.
But they were like, don't fucking race if you don't feel good, because it was nuts. But like you said, coming way back to what you said, putting in the work. You please trust me when I tell you, you got to put in the work if you want to race a full Ironman. If you want to do well, you cannot go like, oh, I'll just swim for half an hour. I'll just bike for 2 hours. Oh, I'm just going to run for 10 kilometers. You're not going to have a good time. You're not going to finish. Yeah. People usually say, people sometimes say, oh, I could do an Ironman too if I could train that much. Well, that's the whole point. You need to train that much to
you need to train. Yeah.
Yes. Even if you want to have a company like Go Primal, if you want to be part of a Breda Strength Conditioning or have something like this gym, you'd be like, oh, if I could work that much, I could have that gym too. Well, yeah, you got to put in the work to have a successful company like Go Primal or Breda Strength Conditioning. Can't just do it whenever you feel like it. You got to do it every single day you got to make shit happen.
Yeah. I think I get a lot of these comments when, people that is not able to train because they have a job or whatever the excuse that they want to say, and they are always, oh, if I had, if I could train, if I have the time, if whatever, then I will be doing the same that you are doing or the same that these guys are doing. But you still have to do it. And you still have to do it properly, because I can go run. I can start today running 3 hours every day, and that's my focus. But I'm not gonna run properly. I'm not gonna be good at running. I don't know how to pace myself. Nobody has taught me how to do it. So probably in a month I'm gonna be totally destroyed. And I haven't been advancing on my running career because I'm not doing it properly. So it is a big commitment that a lot of people don't realize, that having a goal that you need to train for is not just, if I can train, I will do it. You still need to do it properly. And I think for me, the Ironman just sounds insane that somebody can do it. Like those numbers that you were talking, we when we go run, we run maybe 5-6 kilometers max. When we go run, we go to the swimming pool, we swim just like 800 meters, 1 kilometer, and that's it. And then when you talk about 100 and 20 and 40, that's like, well, it's another level completely.
It's weird because when I started running when I was 18, well, first of all, it's funny. Some people say that, oh, I wish I could do that too. I don't have the time. But meanwhile, they're on their phone for 8 hours a day. And they're like on their, I like playing some Xbox, not a lot, but they're playing that, or they're like watching Netflix all the time or stuff like that. Oh, I don't have the time. Like, no, you got to make time. I am making a choice to not be on Netflix. I don't watch TV, but that way I can run. Like before, like I got up at 6 this morning. I walked my dog, Odin. Then I had my coffee, my banana, my protein bar. I came to the gym, cleaned the gym, went out for a run. Now I'm talking to you. in like 30 minutes, I'm talking to one of our interns, and then I have to talk about who's winning a certain prize for my military prep program, who gets a coaching call, stuff like that. Then I have like a 17-year-old kid that's coming with his parents, talking about how he wants to join the military, and I'm doing that as a favor for him, because for his parents, because he had his birthday, and some people in the Netherlands kind of know me, like, oh, he coaches a lot of people for the Marine Corps or Special Forces. So I'm like, I'll help this kid. And then later in the day, I'm choosing not to work. So in the afternoon, I'm going to be with my daughter. I'm going to be with my wife. I'm going to be with my dog. I mean, you have to really choose what you spend your time on, and if you do that, you'll be fine. But to come back to the Ironman, it's nuts. I'm not saying you should, people, it's just something that was kind of like a bucket list or a dream for me to do. Because when I started running at 18, I saw this documentary on TV, and it was about the Ironman World Championship. And I was like, wow, that's fucking nuts. People can swim, bike, and run all that in a day, and without stopping, like you said. And the next day I started running just 400 meters, and I was running way too fast. And I was like, oh God, it's so difficult. And I walked back. And then 2 days later, I tried again, but nobody kind of taught me how to run or how to do that endurance thing. And I just stuck with it. And I just eventually started doing 10 kilometers and half marathons, and eventually got into triathlon. And it took me like almost 20 years to finally do the Ironman, besides, being in the military and having the gym and everything else. It was kind of like a promise that I made myself. I'm still gonna one day do an Ironman. So you just have to stick with it. And if you don't feel like it, you shouldn't fucking do it. I mean, I don't want to be the world champion at bowling, so I'm not going to start bowling. But if you like to run, or if you run 5 kilometers, that's great. If you swim for half an hour, or you swim 800 meters, that's great. I just want people to be active. You shouldn't. Not everybody needs to be not everybody needs to go to the CrossFit Games. Not everybody needs to do a full Ironman. Nobody needs to be. Just be active and be happy and be healthy. It's fine. And if the numbers are nuts, I understand. For people that don't run, that don't swim, that don't bike, like, why the hell would you want to do that? We talked about the Vuelta before we came on with the podcast. I think it's insane it's amazing that they can bike those distances at that speed. That's like
with that inclination as well. Like
and the heat and like the pace. And it's so difficult. People don't understand how tough it is to perform at that level, but it's not sustainable. They cannot do that for the rest of their life. They might be able to do that for maybe 2, 3, 4 years. And like the pros, like the best of the best can do it maybe for maybe 8, 9, 10 years. But that's it. I mean, then you can't sustain that. But what you are doing, what I'm doing, we can be healthy for the rest of our lives if we in moderation, if you be smart, and if you sleep well, if you eat well, if you manage your stress, you take your vitamins, and if you're happy, you're not going to live long. If you're not going to live long, if you're unhappy.
Yeah, I think that's important. Whatever you do on training, either you want to compete or not, at what level. I mean, everybody can compete, but is up to what level you want to compete. If it wants to be sustainable, you need to be happy, and happy means that you are healthy, you don't have injuries, you're not obsessed with training because you are not progressing. That's not sustainable. That is like a professional athlete mindset. That is a stress for progressing, and you decide to do that. But people like you and me, 40 years old, that want to do something, I'm pretty sure in a couple of years, you're going to want to compete in something. Maybe you're not going to do the Ironman. Maybe you're going to do just like a, local race that is going to be a third of the kilometers that you were doing. But for you, it's easy to do it because you can.
It's not really, well, actually it's fun because you say, I understand what you're saying. And I partly agree, because my pro triathlete, Evert, he is very good at what he does, and he races like at world level. So when he races, he's all with the pros, and he's in the pro field. He's not at the top of the pro field, but he can compete. So if he shows up, and he will put in. He will make you work. If you want to win from Evert, you're going to have to work hard because he's working hard. But also, Evert's also still having fun. Yes, he needs to train because it's his paycheck as well, but he coaches besides that. But he also loves to coach, like me. I love to coach. But the pro athlete mindset is still, yes, I want to improve, but also I want to have fun while I'm doing it. Because if you're not having fun, you're not going to be enjoying the training. If you only enjoy winning, you're not going to have a lot of fun because you're not going to be winning all the time. And if you get older, like 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, you're not going to be winning all the time. So you might just enjoy what you're doing. And it's funny that you say that. I might, when I turn 50, I might want to do a less longer distance. Well, actually, I don't enjoy shorter distance. I like the long distance.
No? Okay.
I just talked about this with my wife like a couple of months ago. So I have a daughter, Aylin, and she is now a year and a half. I did my Ironman while Sana was pregnant, but nobody knew. Just Sana and I knew that Sana was pregnant. So Sana was pregnant while she was at the finish and applauding me when I came in. I talked to my wife. I know what I want for my 50th birthday. You know what it is? I want to do Ironman Frankfurt one more time when I'm 49. So I'm going to do
with both of them again.
Yeah, with Sana, but also with exactly. Aylin will be older. She'll be like 8 or 9, but she'll be old enough to remember Dad doing the Ironman. I'll show her that being healthy and having fun and having a business, still, taking care of yourself and so you can take care of Mom and Odin and her. All that, taking care of yourself and doing that race, something you really enjoy, that could be like a great, fun thing. She'll remember, a memories. Yeah, she'll be like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dad enjoys this. And hopefully, maybe not. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll be an example, a nice example, where at least a fun memory for Aylin to have. Like, oh, we did that. Dad raced that race. She might not care. I think it's going to be fun, but
it's a good imprint for sure.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, she'll be like, Dad's nuts. I don't like to swim, bike, and run. Why is Dad doing this? But hopefully, we'll have a good time. So I think that's also very important. I don't care if Aylin ends up being a triathlete. I don't care if she ends up being a bobsledder, or maybe she don't even like sports. Maybe she'll play a musical instrument. It's fine, but maybe I can show her that being happy and being healthy and putting in effort is something to enjoy.
Yeah, I think putting the effort on everything that you do is important. As you say, either it's a sport, athletic career, or instrument, or being, or in a school or whatever it is. And I think people that do a sport, when I do a sport, is like training every day, not just going for a walk every third day. But when you put a couple of hours, maybe an hour per day, something like that, that's what I consider doing a sport regularly. That shows that you have to have discipline on doing something, and that is also applicable at a lot of other parts in your life. And I have a friend that he always says, when people say, so I don't have time for training, or I don't have time for reading, or whatever, he's always saying that you don't own the time. You invest your time in whatever you want, but the time is not owned by anybody. It's just where you decide to put your time. Is either on Netflix, or is those 45 minutes that it's going to take to do a workout, and that will keep you healthy 45, 30 minutes. If you don't really have that amount of time to put on a sport, pretty sure 30, 45 minutes will help you. And that requires discipline. And that's something that is really good to show to kids and,
yes,
everybody.
I mean, I like to read a lot. So what I try and do is before I go to bed, I try and read 5 to 10 pages every night before I go to sleep. That means if I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock, which I usually want to be, I want to be in bed at 10 o'clock and I wake up at 6 o'clock. That's 8 hours. So at 9:30, I have walked my dog. I'll be in bed at 9:30. I can read, I can do my breathing exercises, and I go to bed. But if I read every day, like 10 pages, that means you can read like 4 or 5 books a year. Even if I clean the gym, I have an audio book. If you can listen to a podcast, you can also listen to an audio book. I mean, you just choose to invest in yourself later. The Adrian now is not going to be the Adrian later. The Noel now is not going to be Noel later. So Noel now can go like, I need to finish the next season of this series of Vikings, or whatever, the Big Bang Theory, whatever, or I can be on Instagram the entire time. Okay. Or you can go like, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes today. And just before I go to bed, whatever. But you're going to feel better. And also you're going to be away from your phone and you can read. And I think that's very important. It doesn't have to be like a super scientific book. You can read like a romance novel. I know you love to read romance novels,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
About the girl getting the guy. Yes.
I love that.
But what you're saying, I want that for Aylin too. I want her to see me read. So maybe hopefully she'll read as well. I want her to see me eat healthy. So she'll eat healthy as well, even later, I want her to be like, no, it's normal to go for a walk, or it's normal to train, or it's normal to read, or, and I want her to be able to make her own choices when she's older, but I want her to be able to know that it's a possibility. She doesn't have to be like me. She needs to be herself, but I want her to see, I want to set a good example for my daughter, along with my wife. Obviously, we both like to eat healthy and exercise, etc. I think that's investing in yourself now will help you later.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. But I would like. Well, we had some questions that we haven't really gone through.
Okay, cool.
But that's okay. I think we try to do the podcast around 45 minutes, so that's totally fine. I think there is always time for a second podcast in the near future or whenever.
Yeah.
I think it's been pretty cool. I like this podcast where the conversation flows, and there is a lot of. I think there are a lot of quotes that I heard from you today that are applicable for, you don't realize when you talk because that's the way that you think, but you can extract those quotes and, use them for anything that you need. But again, thanks a lot, Noel.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice talking to you. Seeing you, it's been maybe a year since last time that we did a video call or something like that. But it's always fun. Nothing else from my side, and hope to see you soon. I hope I will go to Holland whenever restrictions finish, and cool. That will be soon, anytime soon for sure. Cool. Noel, talk to you soon.
Okay, I didn't know if we're gonna stop with the recording or whatever, so I thought we were like closing up the podcast, but thanks for having me, Adrian. I'd like to be on again. We can talk about when you want to have me on, because I can understand you want a more different guest than just, the good-looking guy show, you and me.
It will be good not to have always like the best-looking guy in in Netherlands, because then the level is too high. But I actually don't mind having the same person. I think it's the theme, the topic that we are gonna talk that needs to be interesting. So if you have 25 different topics that are interesting, I'm more than happy to do 25 weeks, one after the other.
I really enjoyed it. I think there was a good flow as well. You talked, I talked. Well, I talked a little bit more, but I always talk a little bit more. But I think it's fun because I do believe I'm very grateful for Go Primal for still sponsoring me. I really enjoy I think it's a really good product. I remember back when Wesley was still with Go Primal, I remember he asking me like, do you take the supplement every day? Like, yeah, man, I've been taking the supplement every fucking day I talked yesterday. I'm going to take it tonight. I always take the supplement. I took it during Ironman. I took it during half Ironmans. Ever since we started buying it, I've been taking it. And when you started sponsoring me, I was just like, cool, free
Yeah.
supplements. I always took it.
You feel the difference, right? Like
Yes.
it's not because we are selling it, obviously, but we sell it because we believe on what
Yeah.
we are selling in this case, and there are some holes in our diet and lifestyle that need to be fulfilled by different things. And I think the essentials, the omega 3, magnesium, and D3 are three nutrients or a few nutrients that need to be taken to have
Yeah.
a healthy lifestyle, especially if we train, especially if we get older, especially if we have stress,
Yeah.
if wife is pregnant, things like that. You know, there is
Then it's
extra.
just more stress. If the wife's pregnant, it's just more stress. Not just for her. That's
Yes,
all
for
I'm
you too.
saying. That's all I'm saying. But what I wanted to say was, yeah, and I tell everybody, if you take your supplements, they'll be like, oh, I want to buy some supplements. I'm like, cool. I will sell you the supplements, but only if you sleep for 8 hours, you drink enough water, and you eat healthy. If you do all those
Yeah,
things, I will sell you the supplements.
yeah,
If I
exactly.
find out you're still smoking, or you're sleeping like 6 hours, or you're not eating healthy, I'm not selling you the supplements.
Yeah,
So they will go like, oh, so I got to do that too? Yes. So it's just another 1% that helps them. But I try and make it part of their lifestyle. So yes, you should take your supplements. You can buy them. And we actually we call when you buy all three at this gym, we call it the triple threat. It's
yeah,
called triple threat. We basically give people the vitamin D for free along with it, because we sell the magnesium, the omega, and the vitamin D for 50 euros. But the vitamin D is 11 euros when you sell them. So if you buy the omega and the magnesium, you pay 39. No, if you just buy those two.
49. You will pay
Yeah,
49.
you pay 49. But we just go, you need to take the vitamin D as well. So you can buy those two for 49, or you can buy the triple threat for 50, and then you get
Yeah,
all three. So we basically sell it. We're not making a lot of money on it, but we're having healthy clients, which I think
yeah.
is more important.
Yeah, I think that you do a holistic approach to
Yes.
health and health in general. So one could be used as a service, the other one could be used as the revenue that you're getting, or you can use
Yeah.
both. But I get a lot of these questions. A lot of people. I train with 20 years old people. I'm training for the masters division. So this weekend I'm actually having the online qualifier. I ended up being 220 of the wall
Wow, that's
in the
pretty
open.
good.
So I'm trying to do the next one, and I get a lot of these young guys that they come always say, "Oh, I need to get stronger. I need to recover, whatever." And I'm always asking them, "Okay, what do you eat? Do you still eat bread, white bread?" Yes. Well, then remove that first to reduce the inflammation, and then you can add omega 3. But if you're gonna add omega 3 and you're gonna keep eating badly, then that doesn't make any sense. How about sleep?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what is your therapy for the sleeping? Your procedure for sleeping?
Yeah.
Oh, I just watch TV until 12 o'clock. I go to bed and then I
Ah,
get up at whatever. Then it doesn't really make sense. Do these small steps
yeah.
and then add the supplements. It's supplements
Yes.
is, as the word say, is a supplement. It's not a
Yes. It's at
substitution.
the top.
It,
It's at the top. The bottom
at
is
the top.
nutrition and sleep, and then training, and it doesn't really matter if you take progenics or you take something else or whatever. It's just, oh, this is that. Yeah, but you're still running a marathon every day and doing CrossFit twice a day. I mean, that's not smart. But
Yeah,
I gotta go, my man. My next appointment
yeah.
is waiting. I want to thank you because I had a lot of fun. So
No,
whenever you
thanks to
want to
you,
have
man.
me on, whenever you want to have me on again, please let me know. We'll pick a date. And from me to you, and that's not because of the sponsorship or whatever, or Go Primal, or whatever. I want to thank you for your support through the years, because I really think you have a great product. I think you're a good guy, and I enjoy talking to you. So
Just wait
thank you
until
very
you
much.
know me, man. Just wait until you met me. Cool, Noel.
Thanks, man.
Likewise. Thanks a lot for everything. Really appreciate it.
Talk soon. Thanks, my man. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.